GenC podcast. Welcome to the GenC podcast. I'm your host, JP Jackson, and today we have Jodie in the building. Welcome, Jodie.
Thank you. Hi.
So, for those that do not know who you are, who is Jodie Schilder?
It's Jodie. Not whatever you said. I am Jodie. I am 27 years old. I grew up here in Cape Town and I work as a doctor. And that's me. That sounds so little. I'm more complex, I swear.
Yes, and we would all like to get to know that side of you. So, going through high school, what was that like being fully academic, getting all your A's, then ducks in a row? Was there any pressure to succeed and do something great?
No. I didn't really take high school seriously at all. I think until matric, I took it semi-seriously. I was mostly more interested in doing the after-school activities. I loved school. So I would go to laughing class. I used to get in trouble a lot, actually. I actually got an award for the most surprising academic because...
Wow. They give awards like that.
It was a joke award, but it was at the academic award. So everyone else got a serious award.
Yes,
and that was my one. So I was like, I'm kind of offended, but also...
Yes, I deserve it.
Yeah. So I mostly just had fun and messed around. And I was very blessed that I could pick up when the in class, and I didn't really do that much afterwards. And then my dad would always be like, I would come home and be like, look at this. Yeah. I'm so good. And he'd be like, okay, but you got 85%. Yeah. Why not 90? So he didn't put pressure on me, but he always told me that I could be better if I just put in some more effort. And I actually, looking back, I love that I didn't because I feel like I'm teaching the wrong lessons.
No, it's the story.
Yeah, I love that I didn't because I just had fun. Yes. And I was lucky enough that my marks were still good while I was having fun. So then in matric, I started to be like, who was it? Someone was annoyed that I got marks close to them. Someone who was super academic, they are the academic person. And they scoffed at me a bit. And I was like, I'm going to show you. Yeah. And then I put some work into it. And then I surprised myself.
When you actually put...
Yeah. And so I tried a bit harder in matric. Yes.
So you then decided to go and take on a very serious degree. Do you mind telling us the process around deciding that you wanted to do medicine?
Okay.
And I feel like we have so many doctors on this spot. Wow.
Every time I'm going to ask you questions, I feel like I'm just like, hey guys, I'm laxy daisy because I didn't know I wanted to study medicine. I just knew I wanted to go to university. And I only wanted to go to UCT. Nothing else was really an option. Don't know why. Oh, I think we had a maths Olympiad or something there, and it was just so beautiful. Yeah. And so I decided that's where I'm going to study based on the plants. And then you see, okay, but I'm being honest.
Yes, no, be.
And then it came time to apply, and there was a week left before the applications close. And my dad came to me and he was like, "Did you apply yet? Yeah. You need to do this." And I was like, sure. And then my husband now, who was my boyfriend at the time, he kind of forced me to. He sat down with me and he's like, you have to make decisions. And the only thing I could really think of was I like animals. So I went for marine biology. I was like, that sounds cool. Like fish and whatever. Yeah. And then I had to put a second choice. Yeah. And now I'm shocked. I could hardly make a first choice.
Yeah.
So we literally sat and we were like, let's go through the faculties. What don't I like?
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't like accounting, SARS. Like, I don't want to do like arty stuff.
Yeah.
And then we decided I like bio. And
we decided.
Yes. Because I didn't know. So it was me and my boyfriend sitting there together for a few months, making a life choice. And so he was like, why don't you put medicine?
Yeah.
Like, this seems cool. So I said, okay. And we put it and we sent off my application. And then I got the acceptance letter. And I remember I didn't know if it meant I'm going to be a pharmacist or a doctor. Like, this is the point that I'm at. And then everyone told me, no, like, it's super cool. Everyone, my parents were like, be a doctor. You work with people, not fish. Like, it's cooler. So I was like, okay. And then I did it. So I never really made like very active decisions about it. Because I didn't know. I was a child. I don't know how people know. I always admire that. There's a lot of people I talk to. I know you knew. Your Kelly, who's also a doctor, she always knew. And I think it was only when I was in third year when I actually started working with people. And I was like, wow, I love this because I love people. And you can be there for someone in such a vulnerable point in their life and you make an absolute difference. And you're in a position where you can give them kindness and you can understand them where someone else might not. And then obviously there's the cool sciencey part of it, like the medicine part, which is awesome. So only halfway through my degree did I decide to be a doctor, I guess. But I'm very happy with it. And like I say, just completely blessed that it ended up that way.
And it's amazing that you found that in your third year, that connection and your calling. Because a lot of people start studying and not knowing what they want to do. And how do they marry what they study with what they called to do? And that, I mean, like you said, you were a child.
Yes. And then people end up being trapped.
Exactly.
And especially for us, you can't just chop and change. It's expensive. Yes. You don't just choose, and also you're not allowed to quit at things. So I also grew up that way. So even in the beginning when I wasn't sure if I liked medicine, it didn't matter whether I liked it or not. You're doing it now. What you start, you finish. So that's why, again, I'm just so completely blessed that I love it.
And you're also one of those overachievers that just get through everything. So that's also kind of the problem.
Okay, JP, overachiever.
So you then go on to do your internship and you're in the Western Cape. You then get reposted or put in ComServe into a completely different province. As someone who is very close to their family and loves mom and dad to bits, what is that like? Because now you're not only leaving them, you're basically leaving an entire group of people to go and work in a completely different province where you know no one.
No one, not a soul. It was really hard. So that was last year, and I always say last year so far has been the most difficult year of my life. But also looking back, I obviously grew so much. And people were telling me that, and it was pissing me off. Because you don't have a choice. You don't have a choice. They just told me I'm going to go and work in Durban. And there's nothing you can really do about it. There are processes, but it's you can't do anything.
Application and there.
So it wasn't by choice. And like you said, I'm very close to my family. I'm obsessed with them. And you don't just leave your family. It was that I left my support structure. So it was family, friends, simple things like going to the gym with someone I'm comfortable with, knowing the area, knowing the things I like, where to get food. And I just wasn't comfortable. And it was just me and my husband. You're so lucky that he went with me. I would have probably just lived in a little hole if he didn't go with me. And when we got there, I'll never forget, I went for orientation. Just a quick in, quick out, just check the hospital out. And I walked out, and as I opened the car door, I started crying. because it looked bad. There were holes in the roof and it was just, it's not the Western Cape. People always say the Western Cape healthcare is like, it's a system of its own, and it is. And so to then be in a place where I'm fighting the system was tough, because the job's already tough.
Yeah.
Like, it's hard. It's physically challenging. It's emotionally draining. Like, you have to be on all the time, and mentally you must be there. You can't skip a beat.
Yeah, and that's also something I just wanted to cover in terms of that you can't skip a beat after working 26 hours. How does one stay focused in that space?
I mean, you just have to. And you're going to make mistakes.
Yeah.
And that's also where, like, working in a good place helps, because you must have a team.
Yeah.
And you must have people that are going to check up on you. So, like, for example, nurses. I just write the stuff there. They do the stuff. So then they can come tell me, like, no, doc, that don't make sense. This is not a thing over here. And then you must be humble enough to take it and learn from it and go with it, because it's super hard. And I don't drink coffee. I can't drink coffee because it makes me like crazy. So if I'm there in the night and I'm tired. But you just push. Yeah. You push. Because you have to.
You also started your internship at a time, or mid-internship, at a time when we were going through a global pandemic. Bro. And where the sight of death seems to be part of your daily life more than anything else. What has that been like, just to see that come in and working through because we see the stats, but we don't see the actual faces of the people that are passing away.
So it changed me completely, I would say. If I'm going to be super honest. I don't even like cry anymore. I used to cry all the time. I was a crybaby banter. And then, so internship, it was actually fine. So that was like 2020. Again, because I worked at such a good hospital. And there was so much support and everything worked. So when people died, yes, it was like this new thing and the numbers were crazy. But we knew we did our absolute best and the system did the absolute best. Yeah. And things worked. And then when I went to ComServe, they actually ended up putting me in an ICU for COVID. So firstly, never worked in an ICU before. So they're sending the sickest of the sickest people to the juniors of the hospital.
Oh, wow.
And it was really, really overwhelming. So in general, you know the stats for COVID. You know the death rates. We all know it. But you also know that once you're in ICU, once you have a tube down your throat, your chance of surviving is like, it's not even a thing. And that's the point where I was at. That's when I see the patients. So there was a point where I hadn't sent someone home for like a month and a half because they all died. And it felt ridiculous. It literally got to a point where I was like, am I even doing anything? And you start questioning, do I know how to do my job? Did I miss things? And you can't live like that. So it was really tough. It was just like this in and out, just pushing beds. As soon as someone dies, you're like, okay, where's the next one? So it was horrible. And the worst thing was also the outside world, because people weren't taking it seriously. And it almost felt like a personal attack. Like when people are like, no, COVID's not real, or it's not that serious, and people weren't following the rules or doing stuff. It really upset me a lot. So I actually had to like tell myself, okay, I'm not going to read Facebook statuses. I'm not going to look at, if there was an anti-vaxxer or someone that didn't believe, I would just unfollow them. Because if I let that into my space, I would go nuts. Like I was like, I'm not going to engage at all, because you have to be protective, especially when you're in such a difficult position. Like I was already on the edge. I was going to the beach by myself, crying in the water like in the movies. Yeah, I did it. But then I would have done it again.
Down
yeah.
and a perfect angle.
I was sitting there, but then men kept approaching me because South Africa's gross. So I was like, I'm trying to have a moment here. I'm crying, bro. I don't want to sit with you. So I tried to find... It wasn't funny at the time, okay? It wasn't. Yeah. So I tried to like find coping strategies. But at the end of it, I think I did become a bit harder. And I saw that and I decided to take a break. So this year, I was like, I'm not working for at least a month. I'm not going to do a stitch of work because I didn't feel like myself. It was almost like all that compassion, like, you know, you start out, you bright-eyed, you bushy-tailed. It was like starting, yes, I'm going to do all the stuff. And then that
Grey's
started
Anatomy,
to fade.
watch out.
No? So, yeah, I was like, I'm not going to have that fade. Like, I'm not allowing that. I know who I want to be. So, I took a break and I'm really happy for it.
And that's super important, right? To realize when you are letting go of yourself in a space. And like you mentioned earlier, energy is so important. So like when we enter a space where energy can be draining, you need to equip yourself to be in a space where, you know, remove yourself, even if it makes you look crap. Like it's going to be better for you at the end of the day if you remove yourself from that situation.
Definitely.
Cool. And you do have a husband who has assisted you in your decision making. How has it been like managing such a hectic schedule as well as your relationship with a partner? Because a lot of people, we tend to get focused on one thing and we like say, oh no, this is the reason why things haven't worked out. But it's always a conscious effort to re-engage and connect with that person. What made this young man so special?
He's awesome. You know him. He's your bestie. He's a great guy. And the cool thing about our relationship is we started dating when we were 17. And a lot of people are like, yo, you didn't like love. I'm sure you've gotten the same comments. But I'm also... When we started dating, there was no pressure. None at all. I wasn't like, oh, is this going to be my husband? Is this going to be the father of my kids? There was nothing. Nothing like that. So we really just got to enjoy each other with no pressure. And I wanted to say something now about him. I forgot. I lost my train of thought because I was like, he's so awesome. And now I'm like,
wow, okay.
I know what I wanted to say. You were asking me about the balance of like the hours and the relationship. I don't think that part's that like difficult for me because of our foundation. So we always choose each other and we make sure we have fun together. But what I did find difficult is my role as a wife and what I decide my role as a woman is, right? So I don't know what your upbringing was like with your mom. I'm sure it's similar to mine, but they come home and they do everything, right? So like your mom does everything. They do the washing, they make the food, they sort your homework out, they take you to, everything's done. But also they have a full-time job because my mom was a nurse. So she was doing the most. Yeah, she's still a nurse. Yes. She's doing the most. And then she would still come home and do all these wife things. Yes. So then when I got married, I was like,
I'm going to do that.
No, I wasn't like that. I was like, I can't swear.
Yes, of course. Okay.
Oh. I was like, oh shit. Like, I have to do all the stuff. I can't do the stuff. I don't like cooking. I don't like it. I don't want to clean the house when I get home from work.
Yes.
Like, I don't care about that stuff. That's not important to me. And I'm tired. Like, I just did my whole job. Also, like you said, maybe I work 26 hours. Yeah. And now I'm like, I don't want to do it. So I know I don't want to do it. But then my mind's like, do it. And it's like, you're not a good wife if you don't do it. And people don't mean to put it on you, but they do. So simple things you maybe calling your family or video calling
Yeah.
someone and Jodie's cooking in the background.
Ooh.
And then they're like, don't you cook? No. Why would I cook? Are you crazy? But so it's like my head, my heart, like this fight. And I'm still trying to figure it out.
But it's your dynamic, right?
Yes.
Every marriage is different.
Yes. And we have our own roles. And like, you know, the gender role thing that was, I think it's so heavy in our community. There's like really fixed gender roles.
Yeah.
But I don't care for it. But
There
I
was
do
also-
care for
there
it
was
when
also
it's
at a
like
time
boys
where-
must take out the trash. I do care for gender roles then. Like, yes, I can't do
So
that.
only specific.
Yeah.
But that was also at a time where a single income household could have provided a lot more than today. So
I
the fact
agree
that
with
we feel that all the role falls on a wife, or all the responsibilities fall on a husband is not the ideal way. And every relationship is different. It's whatever works in your space.
Definitely.
And it's all about complementing each other, because at the end of the day, you both live in the house.
Yes, and figuring it out, communicating.
Yeah.
So sometimes I would even get bummed out because, I sound so ungrateful. But I would come home and then Jodie like did the washing and he's making food.
Oh,
Then I'm like,
silver star.
you are suck. So it was like, and negative self-talk is so bad. I'm actually really trying to work on that this year. I decided I'm not going to do that anymore.
2022, new you.
New year, new me. I feel like I must cut my hair to make a statement.
Oh, wow.
So because he's such a good partner, he would also just like do the most. But then we would then communicate about it. Like we figured out, if you just talk about it and both of you are fine and happy, then there's no
and
problem.
it's always so important
Doesn't
to keep the
matter what-
communication.
Yes.
And just to, and if you're not feeling nice, say you're not feeling nice. Because unfortunately, no one's a mind reader. No one's going to know that you're going through the most unless you vocalize it.
And the external things don't matter.
Yeah.
Like you said, it's just like
It's
the two
just
of
that,
you. So.
And the Lord, obviously.
Yes.
So,
But he's not external.
yeah, he's
It's
part
like-
of the triangle. Wow, so cute. You guys are such a perfect relationship.
JP!
So anyway,
Stop being ridiculous. You and babies love whatever.
So we're just going to do some quick fire questions.
Okay.
Right? Whatever comes to mind, just say what first thing that comes.
Okay.
If I say stage 2, what comes to mind?
Load shedding.
Like
Is there something else?
There's many
Are there
stages
any other options? Don't you live in South Africa?
Then camping or chalet hotel.
Definitely not camping.
Okay.
But I'm also, why is glamping not an option? Because I like being in the bush. Like I
Yes.
really, like I want to be in the bush. I want to be a bit nervous. There's animals.
Yeah.
But I also want a hot shower.
Mm.
And I also want to like a bed.
Nice amenities also.
Absolutely. So,
Motorbike or car?
car.
Okay. Any specific one?
Yeah. I was going to be like, a black car.
Wow.
I don't care that much about cars.
Yeah.
But my next car, I'm
It's
going to put it out there.
Mm.
I'm going to claim
Speak
it.
it. Speak
A
it.
big one.
A big one. A big. I'm not gonna say. Wow.
Oh my
That
goodness.
got way.
Pull it back. Reel it in.
Yeah.
Shut it down.
A young
down.
idiot.
Oh my word.
I don't even know how.
JP, control yourself. Be appropriate.
I need to be appropriate. I need to be professional. Warm water or cold water in the shower?
It depends. Winter or summer, like, you know what I mean?
Either one will do.
Yeah.
Because there's some
Like,
people that
whatever's-
only like warm showers
No.
at all points
But
in time.
that's ridiculous. Why do you want to sweat after you showered? Like, if it's summer and you get in a hot shower, that just doesn't sound pleasant.
Oh, okay.
Okay, but maybe someone likes it. Good for them. No judgment. Jokes, I'm judging.
Would you prefer a summer holiday or a winter holiday?
Summer. Summer completely. I love being outside. So,
It's
summer.
lovely. Nature's a thing.
Mm.
Okay.
Mm.
And then lastly, Kusista or Dunkin' Donuts?
Kusista.
Deep. Runs.
Yeah. Are there people that say Dunkin' Donuts?
Anyway.
No judgment.
so
Is it you? Is it you?
No, it's not me.
Okay, no judgment.
Okay,
Are you going to edit that out?
No, there's a few things we're going to need to edit. Post production. So what we like to end off our interviews with is just if there was ever something that you could tell younger Jodie, or even just a younger version, a younger you sitting out there right now, what would that be?
Okay. Firstly, are you RuPaul? Because that's what he asks all the drag queens.
Oh!
He's gonna like DM you for copyright and stuff. You're gonna have to pay World of Wonder. Okay. What would I tell?
Edit.
What would I tell my younger self? I miss the confidence of my younger self. So I would say, remember that space you're in, that confidence, that lack of fear, just going to things with fun and carry it through. Carry it through. Believe in yourself like you do when you're a child. Enjoy things like you do when you're a child.
Yeah, that's great.
Isn't that what Jesus said?
I totally agree. Sometimes we let the world's pressures dictate how we should feel about things instead of just enjoying it and being
bog you down.
Yes, and just being present. But thank you, Jodie. Thank you for sharing your time with us, and thank you for for being authentically you and allowing us to and sharing your story with us. We really appreciate it.
Pleasure.
If you like the content, like, share, subscribe, and we out. Peace.